All right, everybody, we are going to go over the solution. Let me email this out to a couple people, and then we'll get it going. And those couple people are the ones that paid in. Okay, so I got to do this, do this, do that. Do. But Cowlazars football's on. Yeah, well, you can watch it later then. What's up, Nick? What's up, KC, Ma, JK Pioneer, and K Pro? Good morning. Okay, so I know there's some puzzles nobody ever solved in the Grand Adventure. But then how could they win? Well, that's because there was a guess factor and somebody guessed correctly for some of it. Not all of it. They got the majority of it, but some of it. Yeah, it's 10 a.m. here, and football just started. Football starts at 10 a.m. in Vegas, which takes a while to get used to. Okay, so here we go. Grand Adventure, nutshell, series of videos. First, you had to navigate to the videos. That was just a fun thing I did. Dead links, find the one that's correct. And we're just going to go through them real quick. And you guys will see how easy it really was. Well, my way of thinking, it was easy anyway. Of course, I could be wrong. Okay, puzzle one. I've got these links. Let me make sure we're going to work here. So basically, the master puzzle, for those of you who never got through all the way to the end, the master puzzle was a crossword puzzle. Whoever successfully filled out that crossword puzzle the way I have it filled out would win the Grand Adventure. Hang on, I don't have these in order for some reason. Don't know why, but I don't. And I'm not clicking through the links like you guys did. So I'm going to do them this way. All right, we'll just go through them, and then I'll start telling you the reasoning on how I think you should have been able to figure it out. Now, this one everybody hated because of the flashing lights, but if you just go to the end, boom, all you got to do is that. Backwards writing. This one is easy. So take the light, the biggest, and fifth from the light. And fifth from the light, save the answer. You use it later. If you figure out how, the win, you will save her. A couple people are like, there's a couple of misspelled words. That was just part of the fun. But yeah, all it is backward writing. The biggest and fifth from the light. There's on either side of this are pictures of my two boys, my two sons. To me, that was a hint that we're the biggest. The light was the sun. It's just a play on words. S-O-N. What I was talking about was S-U-N. Plus, there was a flashlight going around driving everybody crazy. So the biggest and fifth from the light's the sun. What's the biggest and fifth from the sun? That is Jupiter. The answer is Jupiter. And a lot of people got that. They said, is it Jupiter? But that doesn't make sense. Jupiter doesn't fit in the crossword puzzle. Jupiter has 7 letters, and nowhere in the crossword puzzle is there 7 letters. I did that on purpose. I didn't want people to think that the answers to these puzzles went into the crossword puzzle, because they don't. So on the very first one, which I consider this to be the easiest puzzle, I didn't want people to go, oh, 7 letters, it goes in there, because it doesn't. The word Jupiter doesn't. You've got to use the answers to these 12 puzzles, these 12 videos, to figure out what the theme is and what goes into the crossword puzzle. So that was puzzle number 1, Jupiter. Easy, right? Now, I understand you don't know what to do with it yet, and that's fine. You've got to solve a couple of these to understand what the theme is. Here we go. Then we go on to puzzle number 2. Puzzle number 2 is pretty simple as well. Yeah, the next one I might do it where you can't. You can't guess any of it. We'll see. All right, this one was easy. You got a grid. You've got pawns that mark a number on the grid. All you do is count from the bottom. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Just go up from the bottom. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. Look at this. Gold hat. That's the answer. Gold hat. If you go now this one threw people off because if you go all the way to the end, it runs off. So in other words, some people counted from here and went up and was like, well, that doesn't work. It's H-A-T. To get to the T, you've got to go A to Q to R, is it? And then go over S and back down T. That was just a little thing to throw you off. But it's just that simple. You counted the squares using letters until you get to the pawn. And it just spells gold hat. Again, now you have Jupiter, now you have gold hat. What the heck does that mean? You don't know yet. You don't know yet. Now, there is a 6-letter space in the 8 letters. There's 2 8-letter spaces in the crossword puzzle, but because Jupiter didn't fit, I was hoping people would understand that gold hat does not go in the puzzle either. But some people, I think, put it in, just trying to make it work. So we go on to puzzle number 3. Easy, right? Now, I know a lot of people just see a puzzle like this and they just have no clue. They just don't even try because they don't get it. But you just have to think. Now, this one's a little bit harder, but once you know the trick, it's actually pretty simple. This one is just binary. Binary, if you don't know, is a 8-character number with zeros and ones, and it forms a letter. So you look up online, you go binary to decimal, or binaries, it's actually called Unicode, binary to letters. So wherever there's a chess piece, doesn't matter which one is a 1. Whenever there's a blank space, it's a 0. So this would be, and that's why I did these turnarounds so you could see. This would be 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0. That forms an H if you put it in this converter. 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1 is the answer was Haroon, right? So A, R. Now this one threw people off. This was just I threw it in there to throw you off. Haroun. This one, if you put in 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, it comes up with nothing. It's a null. So now you've got Jupiter, gold hat, Haroun, Haroun. What does it mean? You don't know yet. At this point, you don't have any idea. I don't think anybody could get any idea. But for the later puzzles, I start giving you clues on what to do with those answers for the crossword puzzle. Now, some people went through all of them just to get to the crossword puzzle, which I think was smart, instead of doing them in order, because you're probably not going to get to all these. Now, this one was pretty fun, I think. So the animals had nothing to do with it. So we have a picture of a Bible. We have a kitty cat and a dog. And he goes at 1 o'clock in the morning doing these. And they're all like, what are you doing? So, okay. The hint is, hey, Jude. Get over there. The hint is, hey, Jude. Take a leap of faith. Now, first off, the Bible has nothing to do with the answer. Now, I know that's probably going to upset some people, but I know they're probably going, hey, Jude, take a leap of faith was the hint on how to solve this. You had a bunch of numbers that have a colon, which makes you think a Bible code, a verse or book. Could be a verse in the book of Jude. When I say, hey, Jude, everybody went to the book of Jude, but very quickly you realize there's not enough books or verses, I guess, chapters. Is it chapters in the Bible? Jude didn't work. So the colons were a red herring. Take the colons out. What you want is the number 102, 130, 166, 189. So what did the hints mean? What do you do with those numbers? Hey Jude was to the Beatles song, Hey Jude, not the Bible. The Bible was to throw you off. Hey Jude is the Beatles song. If you look up that song, and I remember Nick, one time when you entered the Zoom, you played the song, Hey Jude. So I knew you were starting to get it. The song, Hey Jude, was dedicated to his son, to John Lennon's son, Julian. That was the hint, Julian. The Beatles song, Hey Jude, was dedicated to his son, Julian Lennon. There's something called a Julian date. It's funny because this is one of the first puzzles that got solved. Somebody emailed me that was in the Navy like I was and was like, I figured it out right away. Julian date. A Julian date simply means the physical number of the day of the calendar is the number of the year. So January 1 is Julian date 001. January 31 is Julian date 031. Let me go back and make sure I got that right. February 1 is Julian date 032. You're adding the numbers together. And if there's 365 days in the year, Julian date for December 31 would be 365. Okay, so what was the take a leap of faith? Leap of faith is I was using a leap year. The calendar was a leap year. A leap year, February 28th has an extra day, which is February 29th, which is going to throw you off by one. Now, people figured it out without figuring out the leap year clue, I think. So basically what you had to do is take the 102nd day of the year using a Julian calendar, and that will make you go to a certain day in April. The 130th day is a day in May. The 166th Julian day is a day in June. Once you had that number, all you had to do, which once you realize what day it fell on, you just take that letter of the alphabet. So if let's see what the answer was. The answer to this was King James, and the Bible was a confirmer that you got the right answer. It's a King James Bible. So the very first one was K. So K is the 11th letter of the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. So the 102nd Julian day of the year is April 11th. You mark the 11th, you look up the 11th letter, and this equals out to King James, K-I-N. Each month was a letter, K-I-N, G-J-A-M-E-S. See how easy it is once you know the method? So the 354th day of the year would have been S. The S is whatever number of alphabet that is. Actually, I can look it up. Hang on, because I do have that right here. Oh, no, I don't, because I formatted my computer. Nice. All my stuff is gone with a stupid computer. Okay, but it was that easy. You take the Julian date. Yeah, somebody figured this out. Whenever you see Julian, well, the Hey Jude, you had to figure out was Julian. Whenever you see a calendar, Julian date can come into play. And then leap was leap year. The people that figured this out didn't realize the leap year. They just did a shift. They basically had a word that was one off, because the extra day in February will make these all go off by one. And they just did a shift, and we're like, oh, it's King James. So again, now you have Jupiter, Haroon, Jupiter, Haroon, King James, and Gold Hat. Still, I don't think anybody could figure out what you're supposed to do with those yet. Okay. But you're coming. There'll be one that I put in there on purpose that starts to give you the theme. And that's this one right here. Okay, this one right here also was not that hard. I think people just overcomplicated it. But again, there's a grid. All you do is you letter the grid, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There's 13 squares in between the pieces here. And if you look, another hint that I gave, there's 13 of these markers here, and there's 13 here. And that was to show that the alphabet was split up into groups of 13. A through M and N through Q, as if you divide the alphabet, right? Just like this in half, just like this. A through M was white, N through Q was, or N through Q, N through Z was the last half of the alphabet. So on this one, N, M, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S. This was the first word. This is a nickel. All you had to do was count the number of spaces for whatever the value was of the coin. And how do you know which way? These little D&D minis are pointing which way you go. So this is a 5. You count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is your mark. This is the second half of the alphabet because it's on the right side. The black is the latter half of the alphabet. N, O, P, Q, R, S. This was A, which is this one. First half of the alphabet's white. This guy right here is pointing this way. So you go back one, A. Easy, right? This one's pointing this way. It's whichever way they were pointing or firing. This guy's got a bow and arrow. So this way again, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. This is a, this was a penny. You go that way, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Hang on, let me make sure that's right. That's not a penny. That is a, and that's why I went up close. I didn't want to make it too easy. I didn't want to just give it to you guys. You had to actually watch the video and zoom in. Let me make sure I got it right. Oh, it's a nickel. That is a nickel. And since we're going this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is this one. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. So the answer to this was you go through and do that was Salah, S-A-L-L-A-H. Well, what the heck is that? S-A-L-L-H. I gave you a hint on what it was with this right here. Here's a Bible. The 25th book, verses 10 and 11. Somebody was like, I didn't know 0 on D&D dice meant 10. Yes, I guess that was a little specialized knowledge because you did have to know that. The 25th book, or I'm sorry, Exodus right here, the 25th verse, I guess it would be. 25th verse in Exodus 25. I can't remember what those are called. Books, verses. I even went to Lutheran school. Exodus 25, verses 10 and 11. Talk about the ark of the covenant, when they created the ark. And that was the first clue to how you do the crossword puzzle. Ark of the Covenant refers to Raiders of the Lost Ark. And in the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark, Salah is the guy. Here, let's look it up so I can show you guys. So you don't think I'm crazy. So you would go Raiders, or you could even say Ark Salah. And there he is. Salah's portrayed in Raiders of the Lost Ark as being a jovial, good-natured, occasional person. He's a minor character or a secondary character in the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark. And you guys will know him when you see him. Man, there he is. That was Salah right here. Remember the monkey dies and he grabs it and says bad dates? Right? One of these. So that was a tie-in that each of these are talking about characters from movies. So let's go back to the first 4 puzzles. Jupiter. If you're like Jupiter, who was that? You could put in Jupiter treasure movie. I don't know. At this point, we're still guessing. But the other clue I gave, treasure movie, let's see. The Gold Bug. Well, The Gold Bug is a movie by Edgar Allan Poe, right? And Jupiter, there it is. That is a character from the book, but it's also been movies. The Gold Bug, Jupiter. Haroon. Who the heck is Haroon? Was kind of a hard one. Haroon treasure movie. The Golden Voyage of Sinbad from the 70s. It's a character from the Golden Voyage of Sinbad. So each one of these puzzles, the answers are characters to a movie. And Raiders of the Lost Ark really helps because the movie does go in the crossword puzzle. Okay. Frank the Tank. The movie titles do go in the crossword puzzle. And Raiders of the Lost Ark has 19 letters. And there's only one place in the puzzle that has 19 letters. Did that purposely. So you could figure out, oh, it's Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now, the other thing is there's 24 spots in the crossword puzzle. There's only 12 puzzles. So once you get the movie titles from each of the puzzles, you've then got to go through and figure out what, and the movie, all the movie titles were the across answers. Okay. There was a logic to the puzzle. All the movie titles were the across answers. You still had to figure out what the down answers were, and we'll get to that. Okay, let's go jump into puzzle 6. Because there's a couple of these nobody got, and I know they're really wondering how the hell did we solve it. And some people knew what the answer was. Once they filled out a portion of the crossword puzzle, they figured out what the answer was. They still couldn't figure out how to get it from the puzzle. So this one I thought was pretty clever. This spells bingo. You just take second letter of the 9th letter of the alphabet, 14th, spells out bingo. Giving you a clue. Bingo. All right. This mess, I mean, you look at this. Everybody looked at this and was like, how the heck are we supposed to figure this out? None of that matters. You have a bunch of red bingo cards. The red bingo cards were telling you only the red markers are what's needed for this puzzle. Everything else is just white noise. Everything else was a distraction. Only use the red markers. I call these markers. I don't know if there's a bingo term for them. And then I even give you the thing on how to solve it. So if you were to just write these down in a grid pattern and just write the red, you could figure it out that way. You could figure it out just by looking at it. But at the very end of this, I give you the hint. The chess pieces had nothing to do with it, just for show. I give you a hint, which is, come on. Boom. There's a pen. It's a cipher. What cipher is there that ends in a pen? Now, I've noticed Cowlazars. You could say cow pen. It's not a cow pen. What is it? The only cipher that I know of ends in pen is, somebody put it in the chat. I know some of you guys get this. We've thought about trying an escape room, trying to create one, I should say. Pig pen cipher, right? for anybody who knows ciphers, you could, if you know anything about ciphers, you've probably heard of the pig pen cipher. Well, let's look it up. Mike, what's the pig pen cipher? I don't get it. All right, pig pen cipher. Boom, this is the pig pen cipher. Right here. Each of these shapes equates to a letter. And when I say shapes, I guess really it's just lines. So if we go back, the very first one, the very first group of red letters is a V. Look at that. 3 marks that form a V. You're drawing lines between the red markers. Okay. Only the red because the bingo cards are red. Right there. What letter is V? V is S. So right there, we've got the letter S. Are you watching this, K-Pro? Yeah. Okay. So we've got an S. So how about this one? This one, it is a little interesting because it doesn't read just 1, 2, 3. You go down a diagonal pattern like this. So this is S. What about this one? It's like a half shape right here. This way, this way. And the letter I. That's the letter I. Okay. How about the next one? This one is a half square, but it's got a dot in the middle. Half square and then dot in the middle. And we go, and that is the letter L. Half square with a dot in the middle. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4. This may have been a little tricky. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. What is this one? It's a half square the other way. Half square the other way is A right there. So it's S-I-L-A. And then down here is the last letter, which I added on the bottom. Let me get to it. There we go. And it's another V. So it's another S. S-I-L-A-S. And that spells Silas. And who's Silas? What movie is Silas from? So you could say treasure movie. And then the hint I give in the very intro in the intro video where I'm in the car, I kept saying twice. I said, whoever solves a crossword puzzle gets the treasure. I mean the money. Twice I said treasure. I mean money. So that was another hint that these are treasure movies. Silas is in the Da Vinci Code. Silas is a character from the Da Vinci Code. So the Da Vinci Code is one of the answers in the crossword puzzle. The Gold Bug is one of the answers in the crossword puzzle. Raiders of the Lost Ark, they're all movies, okay? And that's for all the across in the crossword puzzle. Still trying to figure out what down means. I don't know at this point if people figured out what the down meant or not. All right, let's go to the next puzzle. And on one of these, I thought it was funny. This one gave people a lot of heartburn. So let's do this one real quick. There's one of these puzzles I don't think you could get. Oh, wait a minute. Do I have that wrong? No, maybe I don't. Okay. Another cat, which had nothing to do with it. There we go. So I've got what's the key? I've got a bunch of crazy words. And I've got a bell. Well, what the hell is going on here? So, and I said later on, after you solve the puzzle, add the bell. So the bell was kind of a confirmer. This you solved, and then this was a confirmer, and this was part of the answer. So what's the key? This really threw people off. They thought the font had something to do with it. The font had nothing to do with it. I wouldn't make you guys go through and try and figure out fonts. To me, that's just too hard. If you can't figure out what the key is, you're never going to solve this, okay? Now, everybody, most people in ciphers, when you hear key, it's a key word, but it's not a word. See how I put this in a rectangular box? What item is a key that has this shape? What key has this shape? You guys all probably have one in front of you right now. I'm gonna let K-Pro answer this one. So what item maybe in part of your computer starts with a key that's rectangular like this? And yeah, congratulations to Outcat Searcher. He's the one who solved this. He was the first one to get it in correctly. And we did get a second place too. Nick Sparrow was the one to get second, who will get a Chaseopoly. And he had help from Brian Poppelman. Keyboard, exactly. It's a keyboard. What's the key? Keyboard. You have to use your keyboard. And it's as simple as this. You take the number of letters in the word and you count from left to right on the keyboard. So this is 3 letters. So at the very top of your keyboard, Q, W, E. This is an E. It's that simple. I know it looks really horrible because there's these long letters. There is no letter that's 26 letters. So I used a phrase, a riddle wrapped up in an enigma. But all you had to do was count the number of letters. That's why there's no spaces. Doesn't matter what these words are. All that mattered was the number of letters in them. So on this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17. What's the 17th letter? On your keyboard, you're counting from left to right, top, and then going to the second line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 letters across the top row. Then you go down to 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. The 17th letter is J. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? And what this spells out is James, J-A-M-E, or I'm sorry, not James. I'm thinking of King James. Juan, J-U-A-N, the, 1, 2, 3. The fifth letter from left to right is T. This one's H. The third letter is E. Juan, the maker. Third letter is E. Fourth letter is R. Juan, the maker. And then the bell, you're like, Juan, the maker. What movie is that from? Well, let's see. Juan, the maker, treasure movie. Now this comes up, Treasure in Heaven, this kind of animated thing, but that's not. Now it also comes up with Treasure of the Sierra Madre, but that's not it either. This one was a little bit harder because you have to add the bell part. If you say Juan, the bell maker, Romancing the Stone. You guys remember Romancing the Stone, right? From what was it, 80s? Remember the guy who says Joan Wilder? Remember they're at the drug dealer's house, the big gate, and he opens it. And he's like, Joan Wilder, because he read her book. His name is Juan the Bell Maker's house in the movie, in Romancing the Stone. And let's see. You guys will know him when you see him. Juan the Bell Maker. At least I do. These are all movies. This guy right here. Remember this guy from Romancing the Stone? He was all Joan Wilder. So Juan the Bell Maker is his actual title in the movie. So again, you've got another movie, Romancing the Stone, goes in the crossword puzzle. Juan the Maker, and then this is a confirmation you're right, because when you look up Romancing the Stone, it's Juan the Bell Maker. Okay. Again, maybe now you're understanding all the acrosses are these movie titles, but what goes down? What goes down is a particular person from each movie, but not these secondary characters that I gave a clue to. Not Juan the Bell Maker or Jupiter from the Gold Bug or Haroon from Sinbad, not Silas from the Da Vinci Code. It's something else, and we'll see if you guys can figure that out here in a minute. All right, let's go to the next one. We only got, what, 4 puzzles left, and then that's it. And I knew that once people got the overall theme for a movie, and somebody, even when this idea came up, they're like, well, we had to have used the Goonies, and I did. So one of the answers is the Goonies. Somebody guessed that because it's a famous treasure movie, right? They were like, the Goonies has got to be one of them, and they were right. It was one of them. Same with a couple of the other. I thought I used some easy movies, but I also thought I used some obscure ones that not everybody knew about to make it a little bit harder. This one gave people a lot of trouble, and I was surprised. So we have a clock. The clock is composed of dice, of numbers, right? They're the traditional numbers, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down here's a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay. Oh, and this is the one. And yeah, actually, I did have the answer in this notebook. That's why I had to blur that out. After I made the video and looked at it, I'm like, what the heck? These are the answers. And then K-Pro distracted me. So that's why I blurred that out. That's the only reason I blurred that out. Now, this threw people off. They're like, well, what is this? I had to put A because there was no way to do it with the solve. So I gave you the letter A is part of the solution. This had nothing to do with it either. That was just for show, just to throw you off a little bit. Okay, so the playing cards are times. There is no 0 for a playing card. So if a card is flipped over, that's a 0. This is 850. This is 945. Let's see the other one. This is, what would this one be? 1215. The A is a 1. 1215. 1255. Okay, so if you have the time, 850, what do you do with it? Well, you put it on the clock. 850, a hand is going to point at the 8, and a hand is going to point at the 50, which is 10. You add those two numbers together to 18, the 18th letter. Boom. Yeah, that easy. You figure out the time from the playing cards. You put the hands on the clock. You add what those numbers are on the clock, and that's the letter of the alphabet. It's just that simple. Easy, right, K-Pro? She's not paying attention. Okay. And so when you do that, what does that spell out, everybody? What does that spell out? Hang on. It's been a while since I've done these. This is puzzle 8. Oh, that spells out. Well, let's actually do it. You know what? Let's do it. Earth? What? All right, hang on. What's up, Brian? What's up, AJ? Okay, 850. The 8 is 8. The 50 is 10. That's 18, the 18th letter. 1255, 1255. 12 and 11 added together is 23. 945. The 9 and 45 is also the 9. 9 and 9 together is 18 again. 1215. 12 is 12. 15 is 3. That is 15th, the 15th letter. Okay, and then we go down to the other two. Oh, and a little distraction, throw you guys off. There is no way to do 1 because there's no way to do 1 on a clock. There's 2 hands. So it's always 2 or more. So I just gave you the A. 1230. Remember, a card flipped over is 0. So 1230. 1230 would be 12 and 6, which is 18 again. So if you guys notice, 18 is the 18th letter is in this answer 3 times. So what is going on? The 18th letter is R, the letter R. 11, no, I'm sorry, 10, 15. Let's go up. 10, 15 would be 10, and then the 15, so that's 13. So the answer was the 23rd letter is W. Let's see, the 18th letter is R. There's an A in there. The 15th letter is O. The 13th letter is M. So you have to anagram it. Once you have all the letters, you have to anagram it. And that comes out to Mr. Arrow. M-R-A-R-R-O-W. That's why 18 is in there 3 times. There's 3 R's. Mr. Arrow. So once again, you say, Mr. Arrow. Who the heck is that? Mr. Arrow, treasure movie. And I think this one threw people off maybe. So because there's a Disney, there's this Treasure Planet. I didn't use animated movies, but it is in the classic Treasure Island. Mr. Arrow is one of the pirates or one of the people on the ship in Treasure Island. That Treasure Island, the one we all know about, Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island. A minor character is called Mr. Arrow. So Treasure Island, one of the answers to the crossword puzzle. All right, so now you have a bunch of, they're movie titles, right, at this point. But now it becomes, what is he looking for? Because Mr. Arrow doesn't fit. Jupiter doesn't fit. You've got to pick another character. And for that, I think you just have to brute force it. In other words, you have to go, I know these movies are involved, these 12 movies. What fits going in the down? The other piece of logic, the pattern that I used, is the across for the movie, the word that went down through that movie was a character from that movie. It wasn't random. Okay. Let's go to puzzle 9 real quick. We've only got 3 left. Oh, this one was hard. I think this one you could not figure out unless you knew the movie. And that's why I gave you a hint to the movie. So these letters is a Caesar shift, and it does Mr. Forrest Fenn's quote of a butterfly is really a flutterby. When you put this in a Caesar shift, a butterfly is really a flutterby from Mr. Forrest Fenn. And it's simple. It's an anagram. Bingo Bear anagrams to every other puzzle answer has been a name from a character in a movie. That anagrams to a name and a character of a movie. I don't think anybody would figure it out using an anagram solver because that usually doesn't give names. But the hint was this toilet paper right here. What treasure movie that you can think of, or movie, to me, it's not even treasure movie, adventure, treasure, adventure movie would have something to do, and it's not even toilet paper, it's more what you do with toilet paper to create the character. So I was hoping somebody would get that it's the Mummy. Get it? Bandages, toilet paper. The Mummy is wrapped up in bandages. So if you go to the Mummy, the movie The Mummy, and you look at cast, cast and crew, the movie was The Mummy, which does fit in the crossword puzzle. Nope, that's not it. Wrong Mummy. I'm talking about the original Mummy. This guy, Brendan Fraser's Mummy, not Tom Cruise. You guys would know that, right? There we go. The Mummy cast. So using these letters, Bingo Bear, what can you anagram to come up with it? Remember, they're minor characters, so it's not going to be Rick O'Connell because he's the major guy, right? And if you go through Benny Gabor, if you could get the first name Benny, then you could figure out Gabor. And you guys remember him, right? Let's see. And that's, if you anagram this, it's Benny, Benigabor. Benny Gabor. And once you see the guy, you're like, oh yeah, I remember him. He's like the sidekick. He was the guy making the jokes for the Mummy. Oh yeah, actually I take it back. He was this guy. No, that is the guy I was thinking of. This guy. He was a minor character in the movie The Mummy. This dude. Okay, so the answer of The Mummy goes in the crossword puzzle. Benny Gabor. But again, that's why I put this here, to try and make you think of The Mummy. Okay. So Outcast Searcher says, after I solved this one, that's when everything fell into place on the crossword. There you go. Now, yeah, Boris Karloff was the original Mummy, and that's true. You could try and say, well, which one? There's different versions. But using these letters and using that they're all minor characters, not the main character, not Indiana Jones. I put in Salah, who's a minor character in Indiana Jones, a minor character of which version of the Mummy? Okay. And then maybe when you use the letters in the crossword puzzle that are going down, you realize what needs to go down, which is a character from all these movies, just not the minor ones. And then here's the cat. And then the cat's giving you the hint right here. You see his paws? Right there's the hint. No, I didn't do this 100 times to wait for the cat to do that. But it is interesting you did that, because what is he doing? He's touching the ground with his paws, right? This was a total red herring. I know this will piss some people off. This was a total red herring. Just ignore this. I could say it's why it's in red, but other things are in red, I thought, as well. But I can't really say it's in red, because the other one was in red, the Julian date and the Take a Leap of Faith, and that wasn't a red herring. So I can't say you should have ignored it because it was in red. But this was a red herring, because this is so easy once you look at it. So I was hoping you guys would focus on the dates. It has nothing to do with the dates. It has nothing to do with the squares that these are in as far as the dates. The cat's touching the ground. This is simply Braille, everybody. That's all it is Braille. But I did do a little twist. You see the mirror? It's Braille, but it's in reverse. It's reverse Braille. So if we go here and we say Braille, what is that? Braille. Braille, just like that. So where the pawn pieces are form Braille letters, but it's in reverse. So if we go, no, not you can't. At least, and the answer's in reverse as well. So I made it a little tricky. So right here, 3 and then a dot, 3 and then a dot, but in reverse. So 3 and a dot on the right is the letter R, 3 and then a dot. You could even say these are like dominoes, right? But it's Braille. 3 and then a dot is R. And that's all these were. It's just Braille, but in reverse. And that's why the mirror was there. So 2 like that, except in reverse. So it's 2 like this. So that one's an E. You see how easy it is. You see how easy it is. And this spells, once you figure it out, this spells Riley Pool. Now these are easy because these aren't in reverse. It's just a straight line up and down. 1, 2, 3. There's no way to reverse that. 1, 2, 3 is the letter L. So Riley Pool in reverse. So starting from the bottom, R-I. Here, let me see if I did a shot of everything. Come on. Yeah, there we go. R-I-L-E-Y-P-O-O. See how these are both the same? 3, 3, P-O-O-L-E. Riley Pool. What movie is he from? Anybody? Anybody know? If you spell Riley Pool from National Treasure, how can you not use the National Treasure? So and I think people are like, National Treasure is a movie he would have used. The Goonies is a movie he would have used. And they were starting to figure it out without actually solving the puzzle. And that's part of it. Once you got the theme, you could start to try and figure out, based on the number of letters in the crossword puzzle, what movie. And if you knew this had to do with National Treasure, maybe it would help you figure out, well, how many characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What character in National Treasure has 10 letters? That type of thing. So Riley Pool, National Treasure, and now we're almost at the end. There's only 2 puzzles left. And these were some of the hardest ones. I did put the hardest ones at the end. I didn't really intentionally do it. The very last one was the hardest. Now this, a lot of people had a problem with this. Only use the capitals. Oh, the other thing is each of these puzzles were standalone. A lot of people thought, well, there's bingo in this puzzle and over here, and there's a Bible and two. No, each puzzle's standalone. You do not interconnect them at all. Okay. And I show this in reverse, which maybe is a little sneaky. Here's a bunch of stuff. Here's a hex key. That's a big clue. So forget about all this other stuff. All it is 1, 2, these 4 things. Hex means these are, in fact, hexadecimal numbers. Okay, 5, 8. Whenever you see 1F, I mean, that's if you know hexadecimal, 25, 5C, 7, 7, 27. Those are hexadecimal. So the first thing you have to do is you have to go to a hexadecimal. And that's why I have the hex keys. It has 6 sides. Hexa means 6. I've always called that a hex key. So when I see hex key, hexadecimal, that's the key to solve that. Hexadecimal to decimal. And all this is online. You just use converters. So what's the hexadecimal? What do we say it was? It is 8. We said the hexadecimal is 5, 5, 8, 1. Charlie, is it? Nope, 1F. 1F, 20. Convert. Hexadecimal to decimal. Well, maybe you got to do it one at a time. So the decimal number for 5 is 5. It doesn't change. You have to do these one at a time. And I'll go through it real quick just to show you. And when anybody say it doesn't work, 8, the hexadecimal number 8 converts to 8. Well, that's easy, isn't it? But then you get into the actual ones that don't. 1F hexadecimal convert is 31. 31 converted. We've got 20. We've got 5, and we've got 5C. So 20 in hexadecimal converted is 32. 5 in hexadecimal converted is 5. So I don't know if everybody got this part, that these were just hexadecimal numbers. The first step was to convert them to, it's called an Allen wrench as well, but I've always called it a hex key. It's just me. And I looked it up just to make sure if somebody was to look it up, they could figure that out. 5 Charlie converted is 92. So now what the heck do we do with these numbers? So you have a string of, now you've converted hexadecimal numbers to decimal, to regular numbers, 7, 7, and 27. And then what do you do with it? 7 is 7, 7 is 7, and 27 is 39. Okay, so now you have a string of hexadecimal numbers. You converted them to decimal using a hexadecimal converter. And now this is what threw everybody off. What is this? Because at the bottom it says only use the capitals. What are you supposed to do with those numbers, those decimal numbers? Well, what I was trying to convey, and maybe you guys won't like it, but what is this? What are you looking at? This is gold. This is silver. Nickel, copper. Gold, silver, nickel, copper. Where would you look to figure out gold, silver, nickel, and copper? If only there was a place, almost like a table, where you could look up gold, silver, nickel, copper. The periodic table. In your face. You should have known it. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that one was too hard. Maybe we were like, there's no way in hell we would have got that. I got it. I thought it was clear to me, but then again, I designed the thing. So, okay. Periodic table. So now what do? We use those numbers on the periodic table. But how? You only use the capitals in the periodic table, right? So what were the numbers? The first one was 5. 5 is B. Number 8 is O. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. 5. Let me make sure I got it right. Hang on. But yeah, you use them on the periodic table. Yeah, gold, silver, nickel, copper. 5. Hang on a second. Oh, that's right. Okay. 8. Was it 8? Hang on. Oh, actually, I take it back. This wasn't 5. There's another little trick. This is 35. You don't add these together. This is 35. Actually, I even did it wrong. So we go back to our hexadecimal. But to me, once you know that, it's just a fun way to throw you guys off. 35 in hexadecimal